I know Jerrod said that we can't ask how much money your rich daddy got, but what does he do?
He's in commercial real estate.
Commercial real estate? Oh la la!
Is your mom coming, Maxine?
Well, if my memory serves me correctly, Maxine's mom is bogged down in booze and pills and refuses to be in a room with Maxine's dad since the divorce. Did I get it right? Is that why she's not here? Did I get it right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, honey, good memory.
Yeah, that multivitamin is just paying for itself. Hi, everybody.
It's the divine Miss L.
Yes.
Am I the first one to ever call you that?
Yeah.
She says just to be nice. You are the mom on one of my absolute favorite shows because you guys take really topical, thorny issues and you make them relatable and funny from every angle, like Islamophobia, or whether to support someone like Bill Cosby in the wake of everything that we've learned about him. Exactly. And I think one of the more recent ones that really resonated with me personally was, women versus men in their roles.
Exactly.
And Maxine trying to change the tire, and you saying that, sometimes it's okay to not do everything.
Exactly. Yes.
So how did you come to do this, the show, I mean?
I auditioned. I auditioned 4 times, to be exact. The last time I auditioned with David Alan Grier, because they were trying to match up personalities. And luckily for myself, David and I did Dreamgirls together back in the 80s. So I've known him ever since then, and we did Different World together when I was on that. So it was a great reunion. I hadn't seen David in years, but it's worked out very well.
Did you guys have like the instant couple chemistry?
Well, we've had chemistry for all these years, so yeah.
It didn't fade away.
It didn't fade away. No, when you work together, we really know each other pretty well, so it's been great.
What's the dynamic like on set? Because I'm guessing that David Alan Grier is deadly serious and has no comic timing whatsoever.
That is so not true. We have a fun time. It's only 6 of us, and we've done 18 shows, so there's been a lot of bonding as far as you really get to know each other. Most of the people on the show are stand-up comedians. Tiffany Haddish, some people may know her. If you go on the internet, you'll see her doing her own show. Jerrod Carmichael, who created everything, he's about 27 years old, very young, but this is based on his life. And these are his parents and his brother, and these are things that have happened to him. And it's sort of like what he does when he does his stand-up. It's sort of quirky and lateral thinking on everything. Lil Rel, I think, is from Chicago, so they ship him in. He's having the hardest time adjusting, I think, because he is now a TV star and all the girls are after him. I shouldn't tell any more of his business. Amber West, Stephen West, his father is famous. She plays Jerrod's girlfriend. Maxine, yes. And so she and I are the only ones that are not straight stand-up comedians, so there's always a lot of joking going on. The men have over-bonded. They're always getting together, whispering about things that have happened to them and what they're into and where they did stand-up together back in the day and all of that kind of thing. And they always seem like they're working on their material, so it's always a lot of laughter going on. We do things outside of work sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah, we've had a couple of parties at everybody's house, and we've had Twitter, I'm so going to go twat parties. We've had Twitter parties, where you Twitter, the media person comes in and they send out pictures and you do videos. And so I think the first one was at Tiffany's house, then Amber had one. They've been trying to get me to have one, but I'm lazy. I'm not doing it. I don't have any of that mother stuff. Loretta is always adding me, talking about, you're nothing like what I thought you'd be. I was like, right, I'm not your mom, for real.
You know what, though? You know what? Cynthia would admire that. Because
Yes,
Cynthia would try to find the easiest way out of the situation. Correct me if I'm wrong. She'd be like, why would I host if someone else can do it for me?
Exactly, absolutely. She's my kind of girl.
How much of you is in Cynthia?
I don't write it, so none of it is really, every now and then I may try to sneak a line in, but Jerrod is always like, ah, ah, ah. But someone else writes it. So it has, I think, more of Jerrod's mom's personality than mine. I'm really very shy and don't say much.
Says the young
It's
lady.
true.
You grew up in Houston wanting to be a singer. I doubt that you're shy.
Oh, but I am. I mean, I feel freer on stage, or I usually don't interject too much unless I just have to. I've always been that way. But I like to read. I'm a handsy person. I like to do anything like making jewelry, making clothes, knitting, all of those kind of things I feel really comfortable doing. But I'm not as outgoing. I've always ended up with very outgoing people. I think working with Shirley and Jennifer Holliday and Jennifer Lewis, these are huge personalities. I've always felt that mine was much more compressed.
Do you look back on Dreamgirls as the turning point in your life and career?
Oh, it was
And by the way, this is the original
Hi, I was
Dreamgirls.
Loretta. I was Loretta. Dreamgirls absolutely changed my life. And when I got to Hollywood, Waiting to Exhale was an absolute change in my life. You know, you always think that everything is going to make such a difference, and you never know what you're going to become the most known for. I did a little part on Being Mary Jane, and I played Cece, which is totally different from anything I've ever done.
Such a great show.
Yeah, and it's made such a change. I had no idea I could be such a good villain. And so, because I usually play moms, I've played everybody's mom. Taraji Henson, Viola Davis, Chris Brown, Laura London. I mean, it just goes on and on, all the people that I've worked with. So
Which child was the most troublesome? Which screen child?
Screen child? Oh, God. You don't think of it like that. You know, everybody has such a different personality. Taraji is like a, what can I describe her? She's very busy. What are you doing? Where are you going? She's like something flittering around all the time when you work with her. Viola is very grounded, and she's always like this whenever she's very, that's Viola. She has this deep voice and this very deep presence and these sad eyes, and you always want to hug her. Chris Brown, I remember working with him. Chris was like a baby. He was so funny. He would he would sneeze and squirt water on the back of your neck and go, "Oh, excuse me." And you go, "Did you what?" He was like a little baby. And then the next year, all that stuff came out, and I think it changed his life forever. Laura London, Regina King, Sharon Lill, all they played. That was in This Christmas. They were all my kids in This Christmas. And so it seems like I've worked with just about everybody. And some, Chris Brown, I played his mom in Death at a Funeral. If I go by each movie, I can name everybody, but it's been like 100 and something movies.
Your resume is insane.
Isn't it insane?
I mean, in a
Doesn't it feel
good
like it's
way.
me? Yeah.
When you were just starting out in Texas and you had this dream of being a performer, did you ever envision that you'd wind up on Broadway in Dreamgirls? Like, was that even like a thought in your head?
No, you don't think about it like that. You really think about where you're going to wind up. Dreamgirls was really a hard time for me in a lot of ways because it wasn't really about me, but it was about me because I had to go to work every day too. But it was really about the Donna Ross character and the Jennifer Holliday character, and then they would skip over me whenever they were doing press or anything, and they'd go to the men, and so I thought that was a period where I felt very invisible, and then I was the only one that didn't get nominated for a Tony, so I was like, oh God, I'm devastated. And so I didn't know what would happen, but when I moved to LA and I started my career, because I got Little Nikita with Sidney Poitier, and that was great, and then I got Different World after that, and when I got fired from that, I was like devastated. And so you just keep going, I wrote myself a commercial theme song called I Am Loretta Devine, and whenever I got depressed, I would sing that. And I just kept going.
And then you wind up in Waiting to Exhale, which I feel became every woman's anthem.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
at least
that
I can
was
speak for
like-
myself and my friends. That was our anthem.
Yes, that was so life-changing. And for a period there, I didn't have to audition. People would just give me jobs. I loved that. I think I think Bill Duke was the first one to just give me a job. He said, "Loretta Devine, I want you to be in Hoodlums." And I was like, ah! I didn't have to audition. But I taught myself to audition and to like audition. I think that makes all the difference in the world for people that are starting out in the business. You have to figure out a way to enjoy it and to force yourself to do as much of it as you can so you're not afraid of it, because it really makes a difference as to whether or not you work a lot. And also, you have to know that people are looking for people that are easy to work with, that are likable, that even though you may be very talented, if you're a bitch to work with, they don't give out. Ain't nobody want to be bothered with that all day. I mean, people want to enjoy their day-to-day life, and so those things are important.
You know, it's interesting you say that because we had Jason George here yesterday from Grey's Anatomy, and he said that before Shonda cast him, he was vetted more than a presidential candidate. That her team called his agent, his manager, everyone around him, because she was like, if you're a douchebag, you are not, I don't care how talented you are not getting cast.
Yeah, because they're stuck with you every day. Sometimes, especially if it's a single camera or episodic, which is single camera, it's like long hours, sometimes 16, 17 hours a day. And it's really important that you're easy to work with. And it becomes whatever it's going to become. I mean, people grow into attitudes or problems with who they work with, but usually the people that are casting you want to know in advance if you're going to be there on time, if you have any kind of drug problems, or they want to know that there's somebody that you're dependable, that you're going to, do the job.
How did you teach yourself to like auditioning?
By doing it a lot. I would go to auditions where there was nobody in the cast supposed to be black. I used to do that all the time. And that was when I was in New York, when I first started out. I would just go so I could act. I want to go act, so I would go to auditions. So I would go in and act, and they'd look at me like I was crazy. But when it counted, it worked. I enjoyed doing it.
Are you seeing more casting calls now that aren't race specific?
Well, there's so much. Television has changed tremendously. You see, I think when I won the Emmy for Grey's Anatomy, which was about 3 years ago, I think Alfred Woodard was sitting in front of me, and I went, "Oh my God, Alfred, I'm so scared." And I said, how many? And she was like, "Oh, this is my third Emmy." And you go, "Oh my God, I love her so much." We did Funny Valentine together, which I think is one of the most incredible movies I've ever done. But at that time, she hadn't very little film. So I know that television has changed. You can see the change in television with all of the shows that are female-driven, even for white women as well as black women. But in film, you almost have to have an Oscar nowadays. I mean, I've done a lot of independent films. And the Crash is the one that won all the SAG Awards and the Oscar. The director and all of that movie won, the ensemble won an Oscar for that movie. But that was an independent film, but I don't know how you get into the A-list movies. And most of the black people that you see in those movies, the young black people, are from other countries. So I don't know where the black kids from the United States, where they get how they get in their movies. I think Anthony Mack might be one of the few, and the new young man.
Chadwick Boseman?
Yeah. But everybody else, and I don't know who the women are. I don't know who the new young American black star is right now. I mean, you have all the girls that have been on television forever, Nia Long and Regina King, Regina Hall. Those are a lot of those are independent movies. Some of them are studio driven, but not many. So it's changed a lot. And also you age out, I have a movie out now called Grandma's House, and you just have to deal with, everything keeps going,
Well, I think you are ageless.
Yeah, okay, thank you. We'll run with that. We're going to run with that.
What?
So it could be happening like you're saying. I'm just missing the whole thing. Okay.
No, I think you're fairly busy. I think you're doing all right.
Okay, thank you.
On this show, of all the storylines that you guys have had, which one resonated the most with you?
Well, you know, the one that's the most exciting always for every actor is the one where you have the most lines. And in that,
I love this lady.
I love the protest because I got a chance to show out a lot and put on the outfit. But we've had, but I have to admit, I love the funeral movie where David's father passed. And I didn't have that much to do in that, but that was so much fun. And we brought Marla Gibbs in, and it was just a wonderful experience for me. I really love that. It's so many of them. I love doing this show. And the fact that it's so contemporary and it's so controversial, you never know which side of the issue you're going to fall on until you get the script. And we tape the show. It's a multi-camera show.
But it's a live audience.
With a live audience, and we tape 2 on Thursdays, usually, unless something has changed it. And 1 at 3, 1 at 7, and then that night we get the next script. And we do the table read Friday. So you sort of like know what you're going into. So Thursday is always a very exciting day. You get to do a show, and then you know what the next show is. So you're like, and then you do that until they shoot it the next Thursday because they keep changing it. So you could start out having a lot of lines and end up with 2 or 3, depending on. And it takes a while to realize that it's not about your character, it's about the way the story is moving, the way they're trying to explain something. My best example, am I talking too much?
Keep going.
Okay, my best example is when we did the show on Bill Cosby. The way Jerrod works is he likes to show an issue from every angle, and each character will be for or against or on the line. My character's usually swaying. She don't know, she's going, do I do this or do I do that? So the whole thing is, if you got concert tickets, they were like $500 a piece to go see Bill Cosby on Broadway tonight. Would you go, considering the issue? So what Jerrod would do is he would bring in Tiffany, who knows nothing about what's happening because she's so busy with her own life, and he got a chance to talk about all of the things that Bill Cosby did for the industry. He gave Spelman College millions and millions of dollars. There were black people that were able to work on TV because of him. And now there's this big issue of did he or did he not rape all of these women? So that gives the whole family something to talk about. But what Jerrod is trying to show by doing a show like this is that talent is more important than morals in this country. If you have talent, sometimes people will forgive what you've done because they love your talent so much. We still listen to Michael Jackson, even though he was accused of doing terrible things. Woody Allen, we still want to see his movies, even though he's, oh God. It goes, you take football, sports, them guys, the dog, you know, it's like it goes on and on. So you go, why is this, you know? But this is the way we are. So the shows are sort of like that. Each one is this. One of the last shows we're doing this season is called President Trump, and it's all about the election. I was so scared they were going to have me voting for, but it was David. I was, oh God, David gets
David is a Trump supporter on the show?
Yes, in the shows.
We're outing him.
But he has to do it. That's his job.
What was his reaction when he read that?
You know, this is our 18th show, so we know you roll with the punches, and you do the best job you can in making people realize and understand what the issues are, because they bring up things about him, or things about Hillary, things about Ted Cruz. It covers everybody. Things about Bernie, you know. Tiffany has the burn, so it's like that. So I think it's great because of that. It really gives you something to talk about with your family and with your friends.
And it's not pedantic, because the way you guys handled the Cosby episode was you had Tiffany scrolling through Wikipedia.
Right.
So she was going in chronological order of all his achievements, and then at the bottom is like, and now this is what he's in the news for. And she was like, well, oh damn, you know?
Right,
So
exactly.
it's such a refreshing kind of mechanism, I think,
I think so, too.
for dealing with these things.
Yes.
And last question before our audience portion of the Q&A. What is the role that you get stopped for the most often?
I get stopped a lot for Hallie the Hippo and Doc McStuffin.
I was just telling Loretta that one of my friend's daughters is so obsessed with the show that I feel like she and I have had dinner for the past 2 years regularly, because it's on all the time.
Exactly. But the little kids, say, oh, Mama, there's that purple hippo. And it's like, okay, now you better. They recognize my voice, and so that's kind of wonderful. It's like a built-in whole new audience of 5- and 6-year-olds.
Do they ever have this, the difficulty of reconciling you with this character?
I don't know, if they watch the Carmichael Show, they probably would still say, Mom, that's Hallie the Hippo. If they're
Why is
5
she
and
trashing
6.
Bill Cosby?
Well, I don't know if the 5- and 6-year-olds are even watching it, so, it's all good. But my grandbaby was telling me that I'm her assistant, and I kept saying, I am not your assistant. Your assistant. You are not Doc McStuffin. I'm your grandma. No, you're my assistant. Oh, God. So she was really, but she's not, she's in the Frozen now. She's grown out of.
You've been left behind.
Yeah, she's grown out of Doc McStuffin.
That's unfortunate. Maybe you could be in the sequel.
It breaks your heart.
know?
Yeah.
And on to our audience, please.
Hey, Loretta. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
If the Carmichael Show gets a 3rd season, what topics or issues would you like to see get addressed?
Oh my God, we're not in on exactly what they're going to talk about. Most of it comes from Jerrod's, because I think in a way it's also attached to his actual life story. And to stay current, we usually deal with issues that are happening. So we usually shoot very near the date that we're going to air. So maybe whoever will be president by then, it'll be those kinds of issues. I think we covered protests, guns, depression that women have, the difference between men and women. I don't know where they're going to go with it. It's almost like
Unplanned pregnancy.
Yeah, they've covered so much already. It'll be interesting even for me to see what they're going to do next.
Hi, Loretta. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm a huge fan of the sitcom and of yourself.
Thank you.
I think the strength and success of the sitcom is due to Jerrod being the creator, as well as he's hands-on with his product and stars in the film. Do you, as a veteran actress, do you think that creates a formula for longevity?
And you're absolutely right. He has his hand in absolutely everything, from what wig you wear to your costumes, whether it's a turtleneck or not. He works on the script. Sometimes he's there until 3 or 4 at night, and then he has to come in the next morning and do the acting. So he's wearing all the hats. And whereas some other shows that were happening at the same time with young men about his age, they didn't do that. And those shows got lost in the shuffle. Because this past season, because of the success of Empire, there were 74 shows that had either lead roles or supporting roles for Black men and women in them this past season. A lot of them are still coming up. Mike Epps has a new show. Bill Bellamy has a new show. D.L. Hughley has a new show. And there are a number of women that have, well, the women are already on. So it does make a great difference if you really, he called people that had been successful before with their shows and talked to them about what they should do or what he thought would be best, how to handle things. It's not an easy thing to get a sitcom and be on television. When you look at the number of people that make a show with 6 people work, I mean, it's more than all the people in this room when you look at the different departments that are working. So this young black man has made it possible for all these people to work, including myself. And I'm just, every time I see him, I want to go, Rasta Diva, 'cause you better do it. He's getting it done. And he's from North Carolina. I think that's so fabulous. And I think it's an example for other young men to believe in yourself and get your ideas done. And I don't know how these young people are doing it, but it's getting done.
And he was here, and I just have to say, nicest.
Isn't he wonderful?
Yeah, just most lovely person.
He is. He really, really is.
Next question.
Hey Loretta, good afternoon. I say this in all seriousness, you're one of my favorite actresses, and the biggest compliment I could give to anybody is you're unforgettable. Everything you've ever done always stands the test of time. You're awesome.
Thank you.
One of my favorite shows actually is Boston Public, and sometimes I feel that it's underrated and forgotten about. So can you share some fun memories you had while working on the show, and can we ever expect it to come out on Netflix or Hulu or something?
Oh, God. You know, it's amazing. That show, we did 82 shows, and to go into syndication, you need 100. And there was some licensing problem or something that happened with David E. Kelley. But David Kelley was the most unusual person to write with. He was an incredible writer. He'd write all the shows in longhand on a legal pad, I think, and then, of course, he'd give it to somebody to type up. But what was so funny was that David would say to me, "Oh, you're going to be in love with a midget next episode." And you would go, "He's got to be kidding."
But he wasn't.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't. And it was such Finkel, Harry, I can't even remember his name. It's been so long and so much has happened. But the entire cast was that was an incredible cast. There was a lot of young people because we had the high school people. It was done so well. So there are 82 episodes. I don't know what they're going to do with them. They got everything else on TV. I'm hoping at some point they will put that back on. He wrote incredible monologues, and you had to do them word for word. You couldn't be adding no little extra stuff in there, which was also great. But he was so different because usually whatever script you got would be the script that you would do. But it was a single camera, body cam, one camera instead of multicam. Multicam is like 4 or 5 cameras at once, and it's a whole different reality. And we'd have long hours, so it was really fun.
And last question, please.
Hi, right here in the front.
Oh,
It's
hi.
an honor to have you here. I've been watching you through all of your shows and movies, and you do have an unforgettable stage presence and acting, and I think it's cool to have you right here.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you 2 questions. With your longevity of working in the acting industry, what role haven't you played that you would like to play still, or that you just would have wanted to play? And how was it working with Sidney Poitier?
Oh my God. You know, it's so funny. If you're busy in this business, time goes really fast. And I still feel like I just started, and it's almost over. You know, and I say that because film and television, you usually have an arc that you do where you know, your ingenue, leading lady, whatever. Well, it just turns out that I've always felt like I was a character actress, which is you get to do ensemble work. You work with a lot of different groups. I've always wanted to do the lead in something, and without even knowing if I can handle it, when you do the lead in anything, it's a very demanding thing because you've got to be there usually for every scene, and you have to be on point, or else the whole thing doesn't work. This Christmas is as close to a real lead, I think, that I've ever had. I was like #1 on the call sheet. And I've done some independent films where I was #1. I'd like to do something kind of romantic. I guess they're going to have to put it in an old folks' home now that I've aged. But a sweet love story or something like that. And it might work. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just happy with the career I've had. I've gotten a chance to do comedy. I've gotten a chance to do drama, you know, and a lot of people can very easily get pigeonholed, and you never see them do anything but the one thing. So I've been so blessed to do a lot of different things. If you're talented, if you can sing a little, practice so you can sing a lot. If you can dance, practice so you can dance a lot. Voiceovers, try to get into as many different things as you can, because when you're an actress and you're starting out, it takes everything you got to keep from going under. I mean, to stay in the business is what I'm trying to say. The hardest part is staying in it. You got to be in it to win it. And if you don't have any money to pay for your rent, it's really easy to get it to fall into the wrong thing. So you really have to try to use all your talents in some kind of way. And they didn't have the internet and the phone and the camera, and now there's a whole new way of doing things. People are making movies with their phones. They're creating their own, websites and things. So you have a lot of ways to get in and become important, and you should really, really be about the business of doing that. Don't waste your time. It goes so fast. You're going to look up and you're 50. Horror story, huh?
And what about...
Did you see her face? She went, oh!
I know.
Oh. Now listen, when you hit 50, Carmen said, damn, she was right. Okay.
And then Sidney Poitier.
Oh, Sidney Poitier. Oh, God. I did Little Nikita with Sidney Poitier. It was my first big movie, and I was so excited. And when I auditioned, they didn't have anything in there saying I had to take any clothes off or anything. But when we got to the love scene, the man said, take your clothes off. And I started crying. I called my mom. I said, oh, Mom, they want me. And then Sidney Poitier, he was so nice. He sent some roses or something to the room. And I was like, I got to get on the subway after this movie, because it was my first movie. I didn't have no money or nothing. So he calmed me down, and he said, it's okay, we don't have to. I think they let me keep a robe or something on when I got up. I don't know. Don't go look at that movie to see. I can't remember. But he was very nice. He was very nice. But he was ashy. He didn't have no lotion on.
That is amazing.
So keep lotion on you, girls, at all times. You may need it. But if you see the Little Nikita, when you see the bedroom scene, I'm like cringing. I was like, oh my God.
Well, and when can we watch the Carmichael Show?
Yes, NBC, 9 o'clock Sunday nights.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.